STR Kickstarter people, I am super excited here to have with me Chibuzo Ononiwu here, who is an engineer by training, but a designer at heart. Yes, in case you haven't noticed, she is also, you can't see it on our faces, she's also my sister. But she is a legit, like actual, like, you know, like actually like knows what she's doing, right? Designer. And I have her here to talk with us about designing a short-term rental for dollars. Okay, so welcome, Chibuzo.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So would you mind just like introducing yourself? Because I've really been having people just like introduce themselves, kind of just talk about like who they are, what they do, so that I'm butchering, you know, what they're doing. Go ahead.
All right. So my name is Chibuzo, and I am an engineer by trade. I'm an engineer by day, and then a designer by weekend.
Every other time of the day.
Every other time. I'm always working. How did I get started in this field? So I've always been a creative person. I started off, drawing, painting when I was younger, and then over the years, I started doing wedding decor. And then when I moved to Dallas, me and my sister started doing short-term rentals. So I was able to like set up her units, and my parents' units. And people were very impressed by what I did. So people were saying, "Oh, why don't you take this seriously and actually start decorating?" So I started decorating, and I think I've done over in a year. I did over like maybe 20 over 20 Airbnbs.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So but actually like made me chuckle one day was someone on our territory mastermind group asked, like, do you have any designer or whatever? And I was about to like send them off to somebody else, and I was like, wait a minute, Chibuzo. Like, yeah. And then I pulled the picture because we'll share some pictures in a moment. We pulled that picture of that one that you did, the one with the green whatever, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is actually pretty good. Because sometimes like we have something in our corner and we're like, oh yeah, it's just right. But as I've seen your work improve all the way from Jacinto, because we named the properties, right? All the way from like Butler and Jacinto and the rest of those that kind of came in between to now the kind of properties that you're working on now, like beautiful, like big, beautiful themed places. It's been quite amazing to watch. Now, you have run short-term rentals. So let's talk a little bit about your journey with like just short-term rentals before we get into your design.
Yes. So I started doing short-term rentals with you.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So I was basically the person on ground doing the day-to-day in and outs of doing it, but I also got the experience of starting it from start to finish. Obviously we made our mistakes together, and then we learned from it. Well, it's been a journey. I've learned huge lessons when it comes to my Airbnbs. At a point, I had 3 running at a time in downtown Dallas, and now I have two left, but that's only because one building decided that they didn't want to allow
short-term rentals anymore.
Yeah, but also I was also running our parents' Airbnb as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a good journey. I figured out the types of rentals that work for me, which is month-long rentals. Yeah. Because I actually just had a guy sign up for a whole year. Yeah.
Yeah, Kitty. Yeah, Kitty. Tell her. I didn't even hear about it, right?
Hold on, let me.
And we did not even hear about it. See, guys, see how it is, right? See how it is? We get to hear about the year-long booking, right?
Right. Yeah, so like the trick for that is when I have someone who is staying for 1 or 2 months, I always ask them, hey, do you want to extend your stay? And they're like, actually, yeah, I do like it. And then they extend. I actually had this one guy, because I was going to end my lease, and he begged me and he said, please, if you just let me stay here for a year, I'll pay you whatever you want. So yeah, okay. I have a guest in there. I don't have to worry about, cleaners, people come in and out. It's great. It's been great.
So crazy. Okay, so if you're listening and you're like, wait, what's she talking about, lease and whatnot? So we began our short-term rental journey in Dallas with rental arbitrage, which is basically where you lease a property, right? Can you talk about that?
Yes, so I reach out to apartments in the Dallas area and I ask them if they're open to corporate rentals, corporate leases, corporate leases. And some say no, but some say yes, some are intrigued and they want to know what that is. So basically, by doing that, you don't have to sneak around and have the possibility of being evicted.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm able to go to these apartments, and once one building allows me to do it, I can get multiple units in that building.
Yeah.
So it's been really good. I usually pick them around hospitals.
Yeah.
And tourist attractions. I was lucky because I actually live downtown, so I know the area.
Yep.
And there's a huge surgery center around here. There's also a huge hospital pretty much down the street. So I get nurses, I get interns, I get family members that are family members of patients who want to stay long term. So that's how I get the month-long stays, because those are the kind of people that will get a place for like a month.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we first started this, she was basically like my boots on the ground person. She had just moved from Michigan back then. And we got those first two. So we got the first two for me, and she got one in that building. And then after that, I went scurrying to find that other building that ended up not working out to Sophia. So while I was out there, like in the streets, virtual streets, of course, like finding all these other ones, she just stayed there and just got her like solids, which she's now kept now for a bunch of years. I'm so happy to hear that. But now let's actually talk about design, right? Because that's what we said we'll tell the people today. So now you've been doing design now for a couple of years now, even though with SDRs it's been like a year and a half or so, not a year and a half. 2021.
Yeah, 2021, yeah.
So it's like about 3 years now.
Yeah, we're going to third year.
Yeah. So now you've basically gotten this thing down to a science to the point where you can now like do multiple things at a time. Do you want to share your screen now and just basically tell the people kind of the things that you like, what you think about when you think about what you think about when you think about when you want to set up a short-term rental?
Like I said, so I'm Chibuzo Ononiwu, and I've always been a creative person. I do all forms of art. I do paintings, drawings, sculptures. I am an automotive engineer by day, and I went from painting to wedding decor, and now I'm doing interior decorating. I like to be specific that it's interior decor and not interior design, because interior design is structural and decor is decor. Yes. So I started off with setting up my sisters and my parents' Airbnbs in Dallas, and now I do end to end. So basically, for all my clients, they give me a blank slate. I do the supplies, the designing, and setting up their listings. So common design mistakes that I see a lot of people doing when they're first coming into short-term rentals is that they design it how they would design their own house.
Yeah.
So, and that's a problem, because if you're a simple person who all you need is a bed and a chair and maybe one sheet, one pillow, I've seen a lot of people do that. Those are the listings that don't do well on Airbnb. But the listings that you do find that do well are the ones that model a hotel, like the hotel industry. So with professional pictures, with basically giving you that luxury feel, because when people are traveling, they're going to pick your Airbnb over a hotel. They want to feel like they're getting the most for their money. So another mistake that I've seen a lot is minimal designs and designing for yourself. They go hand in hand, because you feel like, I don't think this is necessary. If you think something is not necessary, it probably is. Yeah. So also the color palette. Some people just they can have blue sheets and red pillows. Basically not really like putting thought into it. They just think, oh, I just need to have a space where someone can sleep. But you want to give people an experience. That's what's going to give you the 5-star rating. That's what's going to have them coming back. And one thing that I put my foot down on with my clients is do not have non-white linens. It's tacky. You could have maybe like a throw or throw pillows if you want to add a splash of color, but white linens are a must. You have to have white sheets, white blankets, white everything, because the thing is, most of the time, even in the hotel industry, when they have, and a lot of people don't know this, when they have colored linens, they don't wash them. And if I look at an Airbnb and I don't see white linens, I'm not using it, because that means you didn't bleach it, right?
Kitty's got ideas.
Yeah, she just wants to talk. Okay, so can you cut that part out? Yeah, so a lot of so something that a lot of people don't know is that in hotels, if the linens are colored, they usually don't bleach them, because they have a short window to do turnover. They only go for the sheets. Anything that's visibly dirty is what they will clean. So me personally, when I'm looking at Airbnbs or looking at hotels, if I see any colored linens, I'm not using it, because I know for a fact that they probably don't clean it properly. So, and also it's a way for you to know if your cleaners are doing a good job, because if your white sheets have a hair on them, or if they have makeup stains, your guests are gonna let you know. Yeah. So it's very crucial to have white linens. And another mistake that I see first time Airbnb hosts making is buying expensive furniture. I know everyone wants to start off having that luxury, like want to brag about how nice your Airbnb is, but you're spending all this money, a $150 bed frame versus a $1,000 bed frame, they're gonna break the same way. So it's actually better to get good quality, cheaper furniture, because we made that mistake. Our first Airbnb, we bought this huge. It still pains me that the pull-out sofa.
Yep.
It broke so fast.
Yeah, it broke so fast. Yep.
Do you know, in one of them, I have a futon in there. And it's lasted months and nobody has complained about it. So yeah, so expensive furniture, you have to be smart with your with what you're putting in there, because you also have to think about it as a business and not just, okay, yes, in your own home, yes, you want it to look nice, you want to have nice things. So yeah, you can spend whatever you want to spend on your own home. But when it comes to a business, but you want to be able to replicate, like you want to be able to duplicate your rentals. So you don't want to keep spending for a one bedroom, spending 10K every time. It's not feasible.
So yeah, let me just interject here real quick, because people may not understand what we mean by the first one. So that first rental that we got, we spent about $12,000 on one. By the time we got to number 10, we spent $4,500.
Yep.
Like same one bedroom size. And I remember at the time, these were like, arbitrage units, right? So if you're furnishing a 4-bedroom house, you have a different budget. But just to give you an idea, that when you first get started, you may have a lot of like unnecessary spending if you don't take these tips to heart. All right, I'll let you keep talking.
Yeah, those are not mistakes that you want to make. Learn from us, please. So here are some money saving tips. So when you're designing your Airbnb, you want to buy things in bulk. I know it's probably cheaper for you to just go to the store and buy maybe like a 10-pack of toilet paper or anything, but it's better when you buy in bulk. My favorite stores to buy in bulk from are Bed Bath & Beyond, Amazon, and Walmart, because you can get linens in bulk, you can get towels in bulk, and those are actually my two things that I will splurge on, because you run through them pretty quickly. If they get stained, you can't get the stains out. You can't, even if it's clean but it's still a stain, you will have to get rid of it. So you run through those things, and people do take them. They might, I don't want to say steal, but they might just happen to
disappear. After a while, you just come back and there's like nothing left.
Nothing left. Like I had a long-term stay, and I went over there to like check on it, and there were no towels. I'm like, what? How did you pack all my towels in your bag and go? What's happening? So I quickly had to run to Walmart and get a whole new set. But I have another like shipment of towels coming in. But one thing I don't scam on is is the linens and the towels.
Yeah.
Another money saving tip is rinse and repeat. So you want to duplicate. If you have one unit and it works for you, rinse and repeat. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. If it works, it works. You can, even if it's the same exact decor, that's fine. Put it in the next unit. Because you know what people use and what people didn't use from the last unit, so you can just move it over to the next one. And one thing I don't care, they can fight me on this, all my clients, they can fight me on this: metal bed frames.
Oh yeah.
Please hold your ears, I said metal bed frames. Because the beds, I mean, the cute beds that are like upholstered, they have those wooden slats.
Yeah.
And those, so because you have different types of people coming into your Airbnb, and if it breaks, you can't charge them for that, because
it's on you.
Yeah, it's on you. Yeah. So I always do metal bed frames, but one thing I do to go around like the aesthetics of it is you can get a headboard separately. Or you can get a metal bed frame with a nice metal headboard. They do have those. At the end of the day, like, people are not going to come in there and say, ew, but it's a bed. It's a bed. It all depends on how you decorate the bed. So, but you need something solid.
But even just to drive your point home, I remember one of those Sophia apartments, that we had a guest show up one day, and he calls me and he's like, we feel a little unsafe here. And I'm like, what do you mean you feel unsafe? And he's like, yeah, the bed is like unstable. I was like, wait, what? What do you mean the bed is unstable? And it turned out that it was those Wayfair beds. And this is no diss on Wayfair or anything, but I think that particular one that it was like those like flat little things, those like the strip things that they had on those beds, that had literally just fallen apart when we were using that unit. So even now, even for our higher end properties, we still use a metal platform on, like, even if the bed outside looks like grand and like lush and everything, the actual frame that's holding people to sleep is metal.
It's metal, yeah.
Like, hands down, because it's just unnecessary headache, because you can't just up in the, like, if a guest calls you at 9 p.m, you can't just up and go find a bed frame.
Right.
As well, just,
Because I had to do that for you. Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah, so another money saving tip is do color palettes. So as you can see in this picture, this was a boring gray room, and this was one of my well, this is not mine personally, this is my client's. It was his basement, but we decorated the top of the house very, very nice. We spent all his budget on the top of the house, but he still wanted to create a unit downstairs. So you see with this, the bed it's a regular bed, but I incorporated like pops of color to make it look nice. So someone who is booking this, obviously this was his cheaper listing. Just because it's cheaper doesn't mean that it has to look ugly. Tacky. So as you can see, like, I incorporated pops of color. For the bedroom, I did yellow drapes that match the yellow throw. For the living room, we had a bright green couch. So you want things to like catch their eye when they're scrolling through the listings. So here are my design tips. When you are looking for, like, let's say you're doing arbitrage and you're looking at apartments, or even if you're looking for like a home to use as an rental, I would prefer that my clients get units with modern finishes, and white walls are a must for me, because it's just easier to design around it. I know, like, you can get houses that you already bought it and it's maybe like yellow walls or pink walls. It's hard to design with those unless you want to do an eclectic or eccentric like design scheme. But usually I would have to cover that with wallpaper. I highly recommend hardwood floors because they are easier to clean because you have a lot of traffic. And then if you're in a cold place where hardwood floors might not make sense, you can always use rugs. to combat that, and that adds an element of design in there. Like I said, wallpaper. Wallpaper, if you have all white walls, they don't want to be boring. Wallpaper is the best thing, especially if you're in a rental. You can use peel and stick wallpaper. Those come off with like a blow dryer. You can easily peel them off. It doesn't mess up your walls or anything, and it brings character to them, and it also creates that eye-catching pop of color that will make people stop at your listing. Also, it gives it that luxury feel.
Yeah.
Another design tip that I do is pick a design and stick with it. No, pick a theme and stick with it. Commit to it. If you want to do boho, get all the pampas grass that you want to get, and make sure that when people are scrolling through the listing, they can tell, oh, I see what they're going for. If you want to do nautical and have boats everywhere, stick to it, like commit to it. Another thing is maximizing the space. So as you can see this picture right here, I have 2 beds in a bedroom. When you walk into this room initially, you think, oh, I can only put 1 bed in here. But you see, with these 2 beds, these are 2 full beds, and they can sleep 4 people. It's meant to sleep 2. 2 people can sleep comfortably, but 4 people can also sleep comfortably. So when you have like big groups that don't, maybe they're like siblings or they are friends who don't mind sharing, these kind of houses or apartments will appeal to them because they feel like they can fit more people and get more bang for their buck.
Yeah. So just to touch on a couple of things that I figured while you talk about it, I might as well basically chime into I know hardwood floors, that also includes your luxury vinyl plank, because luxury vinyl plank is kind of now like the trending, used to be all hardwood, but the idea that I think you're saying there is that not carpet.
Not carpet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't have to go get expensive hardwood for that. I meant, that vinyl. Yeah. So for apartments, because you can't do too much to an apartment, but one way that you can make it appealing to people is to have Instagrammable spaces. So in some of mine, I put a grass wall. And when I tell you this one on the left, my client shows me videos from his Ring camera of people literally having whole photo shoots on this basic green wall. And if you want to take it up a notch, you can add a neon sign that says hashtag whatever your listing is, or maybe you can give them some type of discount if they post it on your social media and tag you. And when next they come into the city, they will get some discount off.
Yeah.
Right. But you always wanted to, me personally, because I'm a traveler, when I'm looking for places to stay, I look to see how is this going to look good on Instagram?
I mean, you gotta tell them. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like, how would the pictures look?
Yeah, because now in this day and age now, where social media has taken over all our lives, if you travel and you didn't take a picture, did it really happen?
Like seriously, like where did you go?
Yeah, like okay, like I don't see people taking pictures of their hotel rooms, but if you have a space in your Airbnb that people can take pictures and make it seem like they're having the time of their life, and they probably didn't even pay that much for it, people will want to book your listing, right? And for houses, you have more room with houses because you also have like multiple rooms. You can have a themed game room. People also like that too, because especially with houses, you have big groups of people. So like outside of the living room, you can have a game room where they can relax in there and it's decorated nice. Also, a nice backyard. You don't even have to do too much. You can have string lights, or you can have a fire pit. Or if you don't have a large backyard and you have a deck, put a nice outdoor rug, put some nice patio furniture. For apartments, you can do a nice balcony, get a swinging egg chair, or just nice patio furniture, because people just like aesthetics now. They want to go somewhere that looks cute, basically.
And that's a little shout out right there. No, go back. Let's do a little shout out there for Noodles.
Oh yes. So there's actually 3 girls. There's 3 of us. We're actually 5, but it's 3 girls. And that is our youngest sister's Airbnb. And she has a nice cabin in what part of North Carolina is it? Is it Asheville?
I forget.
Yeah.
Now she's gonna crucify us.
Right, exactly. Sorry, Noodles. But she has as you can see, she has a really nice cabin. It's surrounded by trees. It has a nice view. So I told her we have to do something with this deck. We have to have something that is cute. So even if she was going for that rustic feel in her unit, but she also wanted to make it modern. So I said you can't go wrong with black and white. So we have a nice decorated deck for her, and we also you can't really see it in this picture, but we have string lights going on the railing. So it's a really nice like place to like relax at night.
Yep. Love those like floor to ceiling windows. And I think that's also a point to make here, that those who are getting apartments, these are the things that you want to be like have at the back of your mind as you're talking to landlords and looking. But those who are buying, if you are buying, that you have like control over what you actually put your money on. Like this one that Chibuzo has here, one thing that I really love about it is the floor to ceiling windows. Like
Yeah.
the view, right? The view is just beautiful. And you can really like just picture yourself out there in the mountains, out there in in North Carolina mountains, just like watching the stars with all that height. So if you're trying to pick between two properties, and one has an amazing view and one is like maybe like 10K cheaper, but it's like, man, go for the one that's 10K more expensive, because at the end of the day, it's not that much for how much it's going to bring you exactly. Guests. Yeah.
Yeah, because you also have to design. You have to get a home that will give people an experience. It's not just a place to sleep. Because if someone is coming out into the woods, to the wilderness, they want to be able to feel like, oh wow, this is a staycation. This is a nice place to relax, and I can Instagram it. I can make reels. You can tell people about your experience. So you don't. So if you're going to invest, you want people to actually like love where they're staying.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, other things, even for like again, just for those who are buying, people do hot tubs, people do like outdoor barbecue stuff. Just basically think about who you're bringing. Think about who you're bringing and furnish for them. Go ahead.
So one thing that I love is themed Airbnbs. They take a lot of commitment. Might cost you a little bit more than a basic apartment or house, but they sell really, really good. This themed Airbnb, this is one of my clients. His theme was, he didn't really know what specific theme he wanted, but he wanted it to be an international house. So he wanted each room to have a different country. So the living room was supposed to be South American. The one at the top was supposed to be a Middle East Moroccan theme. The one in the middle was like a Bali theme, and the one on the far right was a Nigerian room. So this was fun. This was really fun to do and also he had blue walls in his house.
Yeah, he's the one that had the blue walls. I remember.
He's the one that had the blue walls, and it's funny because I really wish I could show you guys the video, because walking in there,
yeah,
I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do with all these blue walls? But wallpaper, you see.
I remember when you got this one and you were like, the walls are blue.
And the whole entire house was blue. I said, who did this? Well, he didn't. He bought it like that. So the owner had just finished it and just sold it. I'm like, why would you do that? But it worked out because I was able to incorporate that blue with the design. So naturally, no one would think, let me get a blue rug because it's gonna be too much. But you see how I mixed textures. I have wood in there. The wallpaper in the back is bamboo. It's actually a bamboo wallpaper. The couch goes with the side chairs, and then I had in the back, I think if you can see it, it's a blue palm leaf wallpaper. So it works, right? Even with the other rooms, wallpaper really kind of like took the focus away from the blue walls. But with themed Airbnbs, like I said, you have to find a theme that works and commit to it. If you want to do boho, go all in, get all brown decor. Do research. Go on Pinterest. There's a lot of people that post their designs on there. You can literally just find a picture on Pinterest and buy the exact thing that's in there if you're not as creative. So these are some of the work that I've done. The first client wanted like a modern look, but with a pop of color. So I incorporated these green velvet curtains, which when you're scrolling through the listings, this catches people's eye because they're like, oh wow, this is nice. This was actually a 3-bedroom townhouse with large windows. The next picture is the dining room from that previous listing, where you can see the blue wallpaper, but I also put a wooden table. So like feel free to play around with textures and colors, but don't go overboard if you're trying to, if you're not trying to have like a themed place. Because sometimes I'm scrolling through Airbnb and it's like a bright orange Airbnb with bright pink chairs, and it's gonna give me a headache personally, but somebody else might like it. But the good thing, let me go back to the themed Airbnbs. The good thing about themed Airbnbs is not only Airbnb that you can list it on, you can also listen on Peerspace. Because people who are shooting music videos or photo shoots, they look out for places like that. Like if you want to have a Barbie themed Airbnb, I've seen those do really well, like all pink. So just if you scroll through Airbnb listings and see the ones that are doing well and just try to emulate what they have going on there. The last two are the same house. This was a house I did in Houston. These 2 bedrooms are in the same house. He also wanted something to pop, but he also wanted it to be, he didn't want to eliminate a certain group of people. So it's still bright and fun, but it's also, if somebody didn't really care for colors or anything, they would still like this because it's not too,
like it's like the grown-up version.
Yes, version, yes. So so this is Butler in the middle. our famous Butler. But yeah, so this the first bedroom with the green was a really small bedroom, but I was able to fit 2 full beds in there. And to make it look not as cramped, I incorporated a bright color pop. So always keep in mind that bright colors open a room, dark colors make it smaller. And for the third one is the Instagram patio. I have this green wall, and then we put string lights up there. And these outdoor mats are really nice if you don't know what to do with your deck or your backyard. These are really nice. This one is reversible. So on the other side, it's white lines and black squares. So it's really nice. So
Butler in the middle was my very first unit. It was this like industrial looking building that had like super high walls, exposed pipes, exposed wall, exposed everything. This was the 1 bedroom that we turned into something that sleeps 8. You can't see it in this picture that well, but all the way at the back, there's a king size bed.
But it works though.
It works.
In hotels, right?
Yeah.
You can have a bed and a couch in there.
Yep.
It's not a new concept. People are okay with that. If you get a studio, you can also bring in this concept. If you have a studio apartment, you can have maybe two beds in there, 1 bed, and have a small couch. Because at the end of the day, people, like when people travel to your places, they're mostly spending most of the time outside. Yeah. So if you're gonna have a midterm rental, then you want to have like more seating space. But if you have a small space and you want to maximize how many people that you can sleep in there, you can do exactly that. Have a bed in the living room. I think you had 2 beds in the bedroom.
Yeah, I had 2 beds in the bedroom, the king size bed in the living room, and the reason for that was the rent was high. I remember this was arbitrage, right? So initially, I had the king bed in the bedroom, and so that slept 2. And then we had the couch in the living room, and that's 2. So I could only sleep 4. And when I saw my rent, I was like, yo, no, this is not working. This math is not mathing at all.
Right.
Let's move things around. And so we moved that bed from the bedroom into the living room, and then put 2 full-size beds. So now the place could sleep 8. And that was how we ran for 2 years? Yeah. 2 years. Yep.
Great. I actually really like this apartment. I wish it was mine. Let's see if I could do it.
it was more expensive than it was worth keeping. So that was why I got rid of it.
Yeah, I really liked it.
But it was really cute.
Actually, I actually have another example. My one bedroom that I had to let go of was the really small one, Gaston.
Okay, yeah,
Andorra.
yeah.
We slept, my Andorra slept 7 people. Yeah, 7 people. Because I had,
What you doing? How did
girl,
how did you stack them?
and I was booking for 7 people because, so it was a really small, I think that apartment was maybe like 500 square feet.
Yeah,
It
it
was,
was small.
it was so small. The bedroom was a small bedroom. I had 2 full beds in there. And then I had a futon in the living room, but I also had like 3 air mattresses.
Yeah.
It was it worked.
Now, here's the thing though. If you are as you're watching this, don't think that we're trying to say like like stuff people, because you can do
No.
this and it'll look really like horrible. Like it'll just be
Yeah.
like, okay, you're just being cheap at this point, right?
Yeah.
But as you're doing it, make sure it's still elegant. Make sure, like, as in, let it be that when people walk in, they're like, okay, I see what's going on in here. But then you're collecting your coins though. That's what we're talking about, designing for dollars. We're not we're not just talking about designing for likes, okay?
Yeah, like likes don't convert to money, they don't. And that's why I also have like people that come to me and ask me about getting apartments around me, and the rent is really high, like around Butler. And I'm like, yeah, it's nice, but you're only going to be breaking even at the end of the day, just to say, oh, I have a high-rise Airbnb. No, get something that looks nice and can fit people comfortably.
Yes.
Exactly. Don't stuff people in there. But get something that will still give people that same experience. In that Airbnb that I had, a really small one, I never had any complaints. People were even asking me, oh, did I have any extra beds, or did I have another unit that was the same as that one? And sometimes I'll even put them in our parents' Airbnb that was down the street. So yeah, that's it. I miss it.
That was a whole adventure.
Yeah. So here are my services. I do Airbnb design. I also do e-design, which is where I can virtually design a space for you, or I can well, the e-design includes a visual where you can see how it's going to look. It looks like I put the exact furniture, the exact products inside the design, so you can visualize it. And sometimes if I have access to what your place looks like, I can put the furniture in, like, actually inside the picture, so you can see what it's going to look like. And I also offer the traditional in-home design where I decorate people's homes.
That you like actually fly, like go out to
go out. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I'm really glad that you put this together, because like sometimes people don't understand that design is a huge part of owning and operating a short-term rental. It's usually like when they're about to go live that you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, right.
Oh, one last thing that I think you mentioned just very briefly was the photography. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, that is super important. And I know when you're starting your short-term rental journey, you're trying to find ways to, save money. But personally, I believe that it's really worth it to get a professional photographer that specializes in real estate photography, not your friend who is just, trying to figure out how to take pictures, but they have the right camera with the right lens and the right lighting to do real estate photography for real estate listings, because that's what makes your listing stand out. Because when you're scrolling through okay, so I keep using myself as an example. When I'm looking for an Airbnb to stay in, if it looks like someone maybe shot it on their iPhone, even though there are ways for you to shoot it on your iPhone and make them look professional, but when it has like low lighting and doesn't even look like they tried, it doesn't even catch my eye for me to stop and say, oh, let me see what this is about. I scroll past and I try to look for the ones that look professional, because it means that they take their business seriously and they're going to give me a luxury experience. So your photos, you can't do all this. You can't spend all this money designing your Airbnb, putting all this furniture in there, and then have bad pictures, because you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. So I would highly suggest that you get a professional photographer that does real estate photography.
Yeah.
So that your pictures will give people the sense that they're going into a business, not just a side hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you remember when we got Butler up and running, I had those initial pictures.
Mhm.
And after we got back the professional pictures from that really good guy, I went back and I changed the pictures, and literally my book, like my price per night. So Butler initially was going for like, I think it was like between 120 and 150 a
Mhm.
night. But when I changed that, I started falling more in like the 150 to 180 range per night. Now remember, guys, that's an apartment. That's not a house.
Right.
Um, if you're buying a $500,000 house, please do yourself a favor. Don't take iPhone, please. Please. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, so
I can be reached on my email, my phone number, and you can check me out on Instagram, House of Vinci. That's my name of my company is House of Vinci. And you can look at my work on houseofvinci.com.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, guys, that's my sister right there. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, Chibuzo, guys. Now listen, go find her. She does. Actually, you know what? I didn't even say this. If you saw the picture of us transforming our living room from drab to very fab, I know I have a little hint of design sense, but I was like, you know what? It's my living room. I think I want a professional's input. So I called her and she did a whole like, she just flicked that hair. Yep. And she did a whole like virtual design with like mock-ups and like drapes and everything, the carpet, the whatever. And now I had like a literal picture that I could just, okay, I want that, I want that, I want that. So whether you want her to come to your actual property and help you with setup, or you just want somebody to like just give you ideas of like what will work for your own style, obviously, because clearly I'm not putting, a Moroccan theme in my living room. No, I'm doing that. Like depending on your like she's able to like work with your different styles. And I can say I can easily say I highly recommend her because like I said, her design is in my living room. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. I hope you got a ton of value from this interview. Now, if you got any value from it, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to get your copy of the STR Blueprint to get your first or next short-term rental, go to thestrbook.com.